Okay, guys, I am out of class today. I'm on campus, so I will probably be popping my head in periodically to address any questions and make sure classes are on track. You can post a question to me on Edmodo. I can respond to it while I'm in my training when I get a moment. But we ended on Friday with the 9-1 section notes in your packet. If you did not receive a packet, please get one from the sub. I left extra packets with them. But things we talked about, there are two properties for proving similar. Corresponding angles have to be congruent, so you check your markings, and corresponding sides have to be proportional, which means they have the same ratio or they have the same cross product. So just in case you weren't too sure what we mean by same cross product, if I was looking at a ratio of 6 to 3 and let's say 8 to 4, when I check the cross product, so if I multiply 3 times 8, which is our extreme, that would give us 24. And if I check this cross product, that's also 24. So when you check your cross products, if they're the same number, then it's proportional. So we went through these exercises here, so you might want to look through these because your homework is similar to the exercise on this page and the next page. So when proving they're similar and writing a similarity statement, we have to first check the angles. Then check your sides. You got to do all the sides. Make sure you have the same ratio. And then if it's the same ratio, then you can write your similarity statement. Then we looked at the scale factor. That's your image to your pre-image or your second to your first. And then how to find a missing side. We wrote this, added this to our notes. To find a missing side for similar figures, you write a proportion and cross multiply to solve. So we did these problems here. I asked you to complete these to check your answer. Check your work, and then this was your homework. Most classes did 1 through 8, got a stamp, got checked for 1 through 8. On 1 and 2, you didn't have to do any work. We just had to, because they're telling you that they're similar, like in number 2, they tell me that the two triangles are similar. We also talked about order still matters. So if I'm looking at G, G is the first letter, I compare it to the first letter in the other triangle. So G is congruent to K, so I could just put K in that box. So you're just finding the parts that are going to be congruent or proportional. So like H is the middle letter, it would go with J, you can get I. Then I'm looking at a combination. So they started off with the first two, GH would go with KJ. Well, if I do the next two letters, that would be HI. HI would go with, yep, that's correct, JL. And then you can finish that. So then here we had 1 through 6 was determining if they were similar, so checking the angles and then checking the corresponding sides are proportional, same ratio. And then if they were, you had to write a similarity statement and give the scale factor. So I think we did 3 together. Let's just make sure I'll recap if you weren't there. Then we checked here, and first thing we do is we check the markings, the angles on the inside. We have a box here, but we don't have anything else. And because we don't know that the angles are not congruent, then I already know that it's not similar. And also, if I check, I know that this vertical side, 8, goes with the vertical side over here, 4. And then the horizontal side, the 12, would go with the 3. And then I can do two things. I can look at the ratio. 8 over 4 can be reduced to 2 over 1. And 12 over 3 can be reduced to 4 over 1. And I see that they're not equal. Or if I wanted to, I can just cross multiply. 4 times 12 is 48. And then 8 times 3 is 24. They're not the same. I just ran out of room. Sorry about that. So they're not proportional. Therefore, they're not similar. Then we did 5 too. 5 was like the exercise we did in the notes. We saw that they had right angles. So the only thing you had to do check now was the corresponding sides. Orientation is important. So this horizontal side, I know it's not laying flat, but it goes with this longest side too, the vertical side. Because 10 is the biggest number, 8 is the biggest number. So 10 and 8 will go together. And then I have to check it with 4 and 3. So check to see if that's proportional to get your answer. And then on 6, we do have to find the missing angles. So since we know 49 and 88, and we know that the triangle equals 180, I can add those together And that would give me 137, and then subtract it from 180, and that gives me 43. And so I see that missing angle is 43, and then automatically I see that 43 is in there, and they have that 49, so this would have to be 88. So I know that the angles match up. Now what I have to do is check the corresponding sides. So I would have to check DB. DB is between, or goes with 49 and 88, so that corresponds with HJ. And that has the ratio of 6:4. And then I know that can be reduced to 3/2. And then I have to check the next corresponding side. I can check BC. BC corresponds with what? Two sides. Hopefully you saw HI. Because it's 43 and 88. HI was 6. Or BC was 9. HI was 6. That too reduces to 3/2. And then I do the last one, which also reduced. Last one would be DC is to IH, or IJ, excuse me, which is 12 is to 8, which is also 3/2. So since they're all the same, I know that they are similar. And now I can write the similarity statement. Remember, we write our delta symbol for triangle. If I could go D, B, C, which is 49, 88 to 43, is similar to triangle. I got to go in the same order. 49, which is, I believe this is J, yeah, J, H, I. And this would be, the scale factor is doing the second to the first. Our scale factor, if I do any side, second to first, this was first to second, it would be 2/3. Okay. Yeah, because it's reducing, it got smaller. Alright, so here, now we had to find the missing side. This is when we write a proportion. We did number 7 together, kind of set it up. We see that their markings are the same. So I know this is 1 to 3 arcs. This Y corresponds with 12. So write the parts that go together. It's equal to, I need 2 other parts that go together. Well, that's 4 and 6. And then we're just going to cross multiply 2 saw. So same thing over here. Now they're missing this marking, but we know they're congruent because these are vertical. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the 3 arcs because we already have 1 and 2. So if I want to find B, B corresponds to 1 to 2 with the 10 in the other triangle. And then I need 2 other sides that I have measurements for. Well, I have the 9, which is going to correspond with the 15. And then I'm going to cross multiply and solve for B. So basically I'm going to have 15B is equal to 90. And then divide by 15, and so B equals 6. So you also have to find the A. So you have to find both variables. So this was part of the homework that you need to complete it in that day. And then this was the second page. So let's talk about this page. You're going to have some word problems and some algebraic application. So let's talk about the first one. It says you want to enlarge a 3-inch by 5-inch photo. The paper will print on is going to be 8.5 inches by 4 inches. What is the largest size the photo can be? All right, so let's just say we're looking at, this is the width and this is the height. Okay, so let's just compare the two. And I would say this is right because 3 is the smallest number, 8.5 is the smallest number, 5 is the biggest. So let's just look at the ratio between them. So if I look at my scale factor, basically, if I look at 8.5 to the 3, okay, and I need to basically see how wide it can be so that it will fit if I'm starting by 3 by 5. So if I just divide that, this gives me 2.8 to the 3rd, okay? So I'm going to do the same thing with my height. So I'm going to do 14 inches by 5 inches. I'm dividing that biggest side into 5 inches because we got to keep the same scale. Well, when I do that, that gives me just 2.8 even. That means that I will fill up this space first because if I think about it, if I go past 2.8, I'm not going to be able to keep the ratio of 14 to 5. It's going to run out of room. So I know that this is my scale factor. This is the largest I can change the dimension, and it will stay in my ratio of the 3 by 5. So to find the largest size of the photo, all I got to do is take that scale factor and multiply it our dimensions. So I'm going to say the 8.5 times 2.8, that's the decimal 2.8. And that, I believe, comes out to be approximately 8.4. Oh, 23.8. And then the 8.5, or the 23.8, excuse me, 2.8 divided by, I'm sorry, I'm multiplying, should be divided by. So change this real quick. So I'm going to keep my ratio of 14 by 5. And we know that's going to be. So we basically need to find our biggest width. Yeah, which is the 8.4. So if you do, we know the 14 goes by 5. Alright, so that's our proportion because we know 14 by 5 is our largest amount that we're going to be able to expand by. And then we use that proportion to find the width. So if you multiply 8.5 times 5 and then divide by 14, that gives us the 3.03, which is too big for that. Sorry guys, I realized I set up the proportion wrong because the 5 inches is our original, so the 3 had to go at the bottom. I had to flip that. So 14 and 15 we know works. So we have 14 over 15 equals x over 3, and the x is the new dimension that we're trying to find. So 5x equals 242, and then we divide by 5, so that gives us the 8.4 by 14. Alright, on 10, we're just going to use the ratio because it says we have a scale of 1 inches to 5 feet. It says the Parthenon is 228 feet long, so inches to feet, keep the ratio the same. We're going to do x for inches, 228 feet at the bottom, cross multiply, so we get basically 28 feet equals 5x, and then we're going to divide by 5, and we get 45.6. So that's our answer there. You're going to do the same type of thing, inches to mile, so 1 inch is to 20 miles. And then we're trying to figure out how many miles is in 4.25 inches. Okay, so just make sure you keep your units set up correctly. Cross multiply, I know you can do that one. Alright, so it says we find the value of z given the scale factor of the polygon. They've told me the similarity statement, so remember order matters. So to find the scale factor, I need to do image over pre-image. And basically I need two sides that I have a measurement for. So if I look at this side here, our image would be the second. So the second figure to the first figure. The second figure is this larger one here. So if I look from Q to R, I know I have that length, that measurement value for that. QR is the first two. That goes with JK. So that's right here. So I'm just going to do 9 to 3. So it gives me my scale factor is 3. And then now I'm going to use that same ratio to write my proportion. So 9 to 3 is equal to QS, which is my Z plus 4, to Z. And then we're just going to cross multiply and solve here. So hopefully, don't forget, we have 9Z is equal to 3 parentheses Z plus 4. You're going to have to distribute. So please don't write 3Z plus 4. No. 3Z plus 12 and 9Z. Now you're just solving for Z, and I know you can do that. Alright, remember our scale factor is from second to first. Well, they gave us, says the scale factor to ABCD says what is the scale factor? Going the opposite way. So we're going from the second to first, second to first. I don't know if you can read that. basically all I'm going to have to do is flip this. This is first, second, 20 to 7. Just switch them. Has the same relationship. All right, and then here we go back to what we did on the first page on numbers 1 and 2. Because we have this similarity statement, I know the two triangles are similar. Order matters, so they want us to find the value of x. X is the middle, so it goes with O, and we have that value, so we know x equals 58 degrees. I think you can do this. So same thing with y. Come up with the numbers that go together on 17 for NP and WY. And then to find for WX, we do not have that value. It's missing. So I'm just going to put a variable there. I just used y. I know WX corresponds with NO. And NO, we have a value for that. So I could write y is to 6 as, and then I need two other corresponding sides that I have values for. Well, I have, let me do a different color. I have XY. XY is the last two numbers. It goes with OP. Those two colors go together, so I could say 10 to 4. Nope, sorry. Yeah, 10 to 4 because we started with Y. And now we're just going to cross multiply and solve for our missing side. You do the same thing for 19, so see if you can write that proportion and then cross multiply. And then it says the largest rug is, it says company makes a rug, their smallest rug is a 12 foot by 3 foot. The largest rug is a similar rectangle. If one side of their largest rug is 18 feet, what's the possible dimension for the largest rug? So because it says one side, and that side doesn't tell me if it's the width or the length, then I can be, or the width, yeah, because this is a width and a length. Because I don't know which one, I can check for both. So I can say 18 divided by 2, and, oh, sorry, we got to fix that because it's feet, 18 feet. So there's 12 inches and 1 foot. So basically you're going to have to do the 12 times 18 first to get our, no, it is feet. I'm sorry, I misread that again. Back to what I was saying. 18 out of 12 is 9, so I know it can be increasing by 9. Or I could do 18 out of 3 by 6. So change basically one of the ratios you're going to look at. So if I'm saying that my width is increasing the most, then I could say that I have my 18 by the 2 will give me what feet by 3. Okay, and do that one. And I'm going to do the same thing for the 18 by 3, but then find the width. Because this one is doing with the width, and this one's the height. You're using those scales to create basically a new ratio. So try your best on that, and make sure you go to Edmodo and do your Edmodo quiz that goes with this. So let me just make sure everyone understands. When you go to Edmodo, and I'm going to show it real quick. You have a quiz over this homework showing that you completed or at least used to watch the video. It is a time quiz, so I would make sure you finish the problems first because the problems on the quiz come straight from, oops, that's wrong. It comes straight from the homework. What is going on? Let me pause it. All right, I got in. Oops, sorry, that's not us. Here we are, right here. All right, so down here, there we go. We have a quiz that was assigned. So basically, you have 7 questions. You need to click on the quiz. They are multiple choice. There is a timeline to get this done. So make sure you do that, and also make sure you have completed your writing assignment that I left for you to do in class. This is the Easy 100 daily check. The assignment was posted on the dry erase board and left with the stuff. So make sure you write answering our prompt, and the more you fill up the page, the more points you get. All right, thank you. If you have any questions, like I said, post them to me on Edmodo. You can do a direct post straight to me, or you can just respond to the post that I have up here. All right, be good, make me proud, and the classes that act the best, I will have a reward for you when I come back. All right, thanks, bye.